Hello everybody, welcome to Cyblock Entertainment and to my ranking of all levels in LEGO Batman 2. This is part of every LEGO game that I'm playing and I'm going to be ranking them all, so if you enjoy LEGO, stay tuned. But with that said, let's get on with the ranking. And at number 15 is Destination Metropolis. I did not like any of the Metropolis levels in this game. I just found them such a bore and they dragged on. Didn't like the location because you didn't actually get to see Metropolis really either. You just saw, yeah, it's just green and metallic and it looks really ugly and it just wasn't fun to me at all. The Bill and me, we just didn't have much fun playing this level. It wasn't much fun in it.
Yeah, so right at the start of the level, it starts off with just a really boring, like, kind of a vehicle, a ship scene, I'd say, where you were just like shooting the gunships off of the Lex Luthor ship, and you can actually control your ship. You could only control the guns at the time, and it was just on rails. And honestly, on rails, not my favorite. Just found them boring, and it dragged on way too long as well, in my personal opinion. After that, you actually did get to go onto the ship, but God, some of the puzzles on that ship just dragged on far too long for me.
Yeah, definitely.
And that was my main, like, thing against it.
And at number 14 is Research and Development. It's much the same as the ship one, but it's a bit better because there's a fun robot thing at the end, but it's mostly, again, you're just in this area and location that just isn't visually appealing to me or fun in any way for me. I don't like the whole green aspect. I've never really liked Lex Luthor's whole theme and look in general. It's just too much green. But yeah, the puzzles weren't fun for me. Superman again, but they made barriers, so it just like slowed down all the progress.
Right at the start of the level, you start off with this boss fight against a Lexbot, which I personally just found quite boring, and because it was just timing really, and yeah. It wasn't a particularly fun fight, as the boss itself wasn't exactly interesting in any way to me. And after that, obviously, the puzzles were quite boring, and so on.
Yeah, the puzzles were mostly just, this area is blocked, you can't go there. And at number 13 is Down to Earth, and this is just a really forgettable level. You're just on the back of the Flying Joker robot. You just gotta shoot it down, really. There's not much else to the level. You play Superman and Batman, and Superman lasers the golden. So at number 12 is Chemical Signature, and again it starts with an on-rails section, and then you get onto the top of the van, and you've got to go through the van and in the van, but again it's the big green Lex with the stuff everywhere, and it's the Lex robots, but yeah, it just wasn't too great or memorable for me, honestly. There's a lot better levels in the game. And the puzzles, again, weren't advanced or clever in any way. It's the same stuff you've done, just in a small contained area being the van.
Yeah, so right at the start, I believe it's like a kind of a car chase on rails level, which lasts a little bit. And when you get to the truck and you have to do some puzzles inside there and whatnot, and while I feel it was a little stronger than the other levels mentioned, it still did have its flaws for me, as the puzzles were still not quite up there with some of the other levels, and the overall setting just didn't appeal to me either, so yeah.
And at number 11 is Theatrical Pursuits. This is the first level in the game. I normally don't put these at the bottom since they are the opening levels, so they're not going to be as strong, but this one was alright. It was very similar to LEGO Batman 1 in terms of the boss fights. Which was kind of interesting because after this the boss fights do get way better than they were in LEGO Batman 1, but here they are just like the LEGO Batman 1 villain fights. You're in the Man of the Year award place, and there's quite a lot of combat against the goons and that, and you've got to track down all the villains that are hiding there. It really just introduces all the suits, which is nice.
I believe this level was a little gimmicky, actually. It's just a lot of the fights were just like, so that was a fight.
I like the Batman 1 fights.
They were, yeah, like yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Nostalgia lied to me.
Yeah, that's kind of what it felt like to me. It was kind of like almost making fun of the Lego Batman 1 fights, or and yeah, overall, yeah, it just wasn't that strong. Boss fights were just a bit boring, but
It was quite a long level though. for an
oh, yeah,
opening.
it was a long level. It's because you have to fight so many people.
Yeah, there was a lot of boss fights.
Hmm.
And at number 10 is Harboring a Criminal, and I really liked this level. It had a lot of climbing and, as Nabil loves to say, parkour.
Parkour, yeah,
the
there's a lot of
Lego games.
parkour as well.
I thought the suits were fun. It's, again, not really a memorable level, because you are really just climbing up, and you do have to fix Robin's helicopter, which he crashed after you built it, which was kind of like, okay, why? But, aye, a lot of climbing, a lot of fun, and I quite like the suits in this one. I thought the suit selection was good. And at number 9 is Core Instability, and this is just a short on-rail section, but I really like this one compared to the others because there was a sense of dread when there's a giant Joker robot chasing you. That's pretty terrifying. You've got to shoot his middle, shoot the missiles, and you actually got to shoot the statues to make him trip over and spill out all the green stuff. I don't know what it was, like kryptonite juice, but aye. Very short one, but it was really fun and thematically pretty great. At number 8 is The Next President, and this was another one of those Joker robot levels. A lot of the final levels were just the Joker robot boss with different stuff for it. But in this one, Lex Luthor's mind controlled all the voters at the bottom, so you've got to actually get to the robot and laser off the flower and pull that off, and then that ends up with a boss fight in the top. But it was really interesting because the robot could actually hit you back off the stage to kill you. And there was a lot of fighting happening, and I had a great time with it.
Yeah, so the overall level was quite fun. It wasn't a particularly long level, but what it had was still fun. The puzzles were unique, I'd say, because you obviously had to try and injure the big robot.
Right, Joker robot. Should have been a Lego set.
Yeah.
At number 7 is Unwelcome Guest, and this was a really unique situation where Lex Luthor and Joker have broken into the Batcave. So you gotta fight them in there and do lots of puzzles and shoot them down basically. But it's a really, really long level, I've gotta say. Like, it goes from fighting Joker and Lex Luthor to actually having to escape the Batcave, but there's a lot of fun platforming sections, or you could play Superman and fly to the top, but you also do have to help them out along the way. I really enjoyed climbing the Batcave. I like the whole idea of having to climb up high in places and games. Just a personal thing of mine that I really like.
I would also like to add that the use of the vehicles in the actual Batcave was quite interesting as well, because at times you'd have to like hop onto a vehicle and like try and damage Joker and Lex before they shot it down with their kryptonite cannon or whatever it was called.
The kryptonite gun.
Yeah. So I really liked that just little gimmick there. It was a really, really long level, but I feel with the amount of content that they had and how enjoyable they made it, it's justified its place.
And at number 6 is Asylum Assignment. I always love Arkham Asylum as a location. It's always going to be a bias to me if it's in any game. It's going to be one of my favourite places. But this one was good, yet it was a bit too long for me personally. The puzzles were good. It was interesting to see the cells of all the villains and some of the villains. I really liked the suits they introduced in it, but the level was a bit too long. It did have a great boss of Scarecrow at the end though. I really like that Scarecrow boss.
So they introduced the ice suit, which was my personal favorite suit in Lego Batman for probably obvious reasons. Because of course I like to annoy the hell out of Walkland and I could freeze him with it.
Freeze me. Trying to do stuff.
So that was a personal favorite of mine, and you did get to see Croc at some point because you had to dive in a few levels, I believe, and you got to see him in his like little cage, which was a little sad, but you know, whatever.
And at number 5 is Chemical Crisis, and when we said the last level was a long level, this was like 50 minutes, which for a Lego game level, that must be the longest Lego level I've ever seen so far. But you're in Ace Chemicals, you've got to clean it up while avoiding the fire. It reminded me of one of my favourite levels from LEGO Star Wars The Complete Saga, which was a droid factory with all the moving platforms and stuff and hazards, which I really enjoyed. But yeah, really long level, but a lot of fun in it for me personally.
The whole point of this level was to obviously gather all the different substances that you're making in the factory to try and figure out what they're making in general. And with every ball, there were definitely like unique puzzles to them. They were very enjoyable. Additionally, I like that they improved the hazard suit a lot in this game, because I believe in the previous LEGO game it was just not all that great.
It was like hoovering.
Yeah, the shivering eye, and it was absolutely bored of my existence.
And at number 4 is Underground Retreat, and this is where you're playing as Batman and weaken Superman, and you're in the Gotham subway. Really like the whole subway thing with all the trains coming that can hit you, and all the like broken trains because the Joker robot has been rampaging through the city. Good puzzles, good co-op in it definitely, and the gliding suit. It's a very open level, there's a lot of different paths you can go, especially in free play, it's a lot of fun for you. And at number 3 is Arkham Asylum Antics, and this was such a great idea. It played like an old puzzle game almost, where it's like almost top-down like, and you're in a maze. But basically, the villains are running around in cars trying to run you over, and there's a lot of hazards in this maze, and you've got to do the puzzles and progress through the maze. A lot of fun. Of course, you have all the classic Batman villains that are there, and a lot of good suits in it too.
It was just really funny whenever you're trying to like hop onto the next part of a maze or whatever, and you just get like run over by like Catwoman's car or something. So there was a lot of funny parts to this level, and they definitely made good use of the different suits in this level as well, especially with the ice suit, because at times you had to like freeze the waterfalls and climb up to the ledges on the maze. And overall it was just really fun, honestly. Definitely one of my favorite levels. I loved how many different villains there were as well in this level.
And at number 2, I think everyone saw this coming because these levels were just fantastic, but number 2 is Heroes Unite, the final level, the final fight, where you finally beat that goddamn Joker robot, but you do it with the Justice League, and they all have their cool abilities, and then you have to actually beat Joker finally, and then after that Lex Luthor in his big power suit. It was so epic, such an awesome fight. We actually used the Watchtower Martian Manhunter to call down a beam while playing as Robin in the Acrobat suit. A lot of fun, great final boss fight, a great ending to a great game. And at number 1, my favorite level, and I think you know why after I said I like climbing tall things in games. You climb the highest tower in the game, Wayne Tower, from the inside, while the Joker robot is climbing it, while it's being destroyed and run down by goons and enemies and Lexbots. And you get to the top of the tower, and you fight the Joker robot, send him crashing down, skydive down onto the robot, which is just like that Clone Wars level that I loved. And yeah, what a great level. The first time you get to play with the Justice League as well. They've just come in, Cyborg, Green Lantern. So much fun, great suits, fantastic level, and definitely my favorite. So that was my ranking of all the levels in LEGO Batman 2. We are doing every LEGO game, then ranking them at the end. So we hope you enjoyed, and until next time, this has been Cyberlock Entertainment.